The Elden Ring DLC added everybody's favorite sword, the Sword of Sunlight. It starts off as the stone-sheathed sword, and then you can turn it into the Sword of Sunlight, or the Sword of Darkness. You can get it in 3 places: the Unte Ruins, the Ancient Ruins of Rao, and the Fog Canyon. Once you get it from one of the places there, you need to go to an altar at one of the other 2 places to turn it into the Sword of Sunlight or the Sword of Darkness. If you collect your sword from the Unte Ruins like me, then you have to go to the Fog Canyon to get the Sword of Darkness, and then to the Ancient Ruins of Rao to get the Sword of Sunlight. I'm not going to show you how to get down to the Fog Canyon itself, because this place is miserable. However, once you get down to the room with the 3 falling ceilings, then you just need to make your way to each of the coves so you can avoid the ceilings, and then finally to the back of the room, up the stairs. You'll need to kill a few imps and one of the mages here. Once the ceiling comes down, you'll be able to jump into a little hole and then off onto a platform. And then once the ceiling drops again, you can just jump on it and run across them to the right side of the area, and there will be the altar. You just have to walk up to it with the stone-sheathed sword in your inventory, and you'll be able to turn it into the Sword of Darkness. I personally recommend getting the sword here instead of the Ruins of Unte or the Ancient Ruins of Rao, because it's much more annoying to come down here and highly impractical if you only have 1 sword. If you have 2 swords, it doesn't really matter. Next is the Ancient Ruins of Rao, the Sword of Light. This one you need to be at the West Grace, right after the Furnace Golem. You just need to go up the stairs with the guy throwing the bouncy ball of death down at you, and then stick to the right, run out onto the open area with the pagodas. There'll be a bunch of pests inside. These pests are really annoying because I feel like they do half your health always. But if you just stick to the right side instead of going up the elevator and then go out past the pests, you'll end up at a broken bridge. This is an invisible walkway. You just need to go straight across to the tower. And this tower has the Altar of Light. Just go up to it with your sword in your inventory again, and then use the altar. You'll get the Sword of Light from it. Personally, I prefer the Sword of Darkness. I just think the animation's cooler and far more practical, but I love them both so much, honestly. The Sword of Light's special ability doesn't hit for as much damage as the Sword of Darkness, but their potential lies in different aspects. Both of them have a unique effect. The Sword of Light buffs your holy damage by 20% for 60 seconds. Meanwhile, the Sword of Darkness, while it does do better AoE and damage with its special ability, also debuffs the enemies for 20% holy damage taken for 60 seconds. There is the major problem though, that the Sword of Darkness looks like shit compared to the Sword of Light. I like the homeless look, don't get me wrong, but seriously, this looks like a rusted piece of junk. It's honestly kinda sad. Anyway, when you convert the Sword of Light to the Sword of Darkness, or vice versa, it keeps its level. So if it's plus 10 when it's Sword of Darkness, it'll be plus 10 when you change it to the Sword of Light. Obviously, you don't have to worry about this if you just have 2 from New Game Plus. I feel like I should also mention that the Sword of Light's buff is a body buff, and therefore it won't stack with other body buffs. But that's about it. I did find it odd that both of them scale with strength more than faith, but that's about it. Until next time.
And